Today I'm going to show you how to stretch the straddle position using weights. So loaded stretching in a straddle. It's a fantastic way of conditioning the position, making it strong, making it more flexible, making it mobile for use in things like shoulder presses, straddle press to handstand, and lots of other calisthenics and yoga moves. And if you have my app or you're a YouTube member, you'll also have access to the longer version of this video where we go into the straddle L-sit holds and the straddle L-sit press to handstand. Now the first thing we need to do before we start loading ourselves in the position with weight is make sure that we get into a comfortable position that's going to be safe for us. So if you just sit down on the floor like this, go sideways on so you can see what's happening to your lower back in this position. Now if you look like this, we don't want to be loaded in this position. We really don't want to even be stretched in this position. We want to be more like that. Now if you're not flexible enough to sit in this position and have more of a flatter low back, then we need to raise the hips up. So the best use of the plates to start with is just to sit on them. So make a mountain or just a higher surface, place them down on the floor, and again video yourself from the side. You get the butt cheeks out of the way first, so move them out of the way, and then check what that low back is doing in that position. So it should be here. Now I've got the camera set up here so I can see what you're seeing, and I can see it so I can check that I'm in that lumbar lordosis, not flexing, so not like that. So I want to be in this position, so I have a bit more of an anterior tilt in that position, and then I can just place the hands down on the floor. Now if that's too hard, you just keep raising up. Now if you are someone who needs to raise them up even higher, I recommend that your weighted repetitions or weighted stretching is limited to the first exercise only, because that's the least aggressive and the safest version. So if you're tighter in this position, we don't want to be getting too aggressive and putting too much load on the position yet. Now for me, for this warm-up section, I need to be more into this position. So I've got a small mat lifting up a little bit, and I can see in that video there that I'm still into an anterior position. That's pretty comfortable for me. So that's where I'm going to be. Now I've got a 20k plate and a 10k plate, and I'd recommend you do the same. Have a lighter one and a heavier one. And then for the first exercise, I'm going to use the 20k plate, and I recommend you do the same. This isn't about loading and putting the weight on our back or anything silly yet. It's just going to help us to lean forwards. So I've got the heavier weight like so, and then all I'm going to do is going to tip it forwards in that direction so it's pulling me there. Then I'm going to come back up, take the plate a little bit further away, do the same, let it pull me forwards. So it's lengthening the spine. Make sure I've got that anterior position, that arch in the low back. I can actually feel that I need to go lower. And look, I'm getting on the edge of the mat. Now the edge of the mat is going to help tip me into that anterior position even more. And I'm going to set up in exactly the same position and just let it pull me in that direction. Play with that distance to the bottom of the plate is. I can just hang there for time. Just do some slow movements in and out of the position. So it's all about lengthening as much as we can. Okay, next one, I'm going to take the plate to the left foot. Now I'm going to put the right hand on the top, and now it's just going to pull me this way. So again, lengthening the spine in that direction as much as I can there. And then over to the other side, same thing but opposite. So I'm going to the right leg, left hand on top of the plate, let it pull me that way. So everything's about lengthening. Okay, then we cut back to the middle again. Same thing, hands on top. Okay, next, with the plate here, actually let me move back so you guys can see a bit better. I'm now going to do the same thing, but I'm going to put the plate down. So I'm going to keep going with it until it falls there. Then I'm going to try and grab on top of the plate and lengthen as much as I can. Now this will be dependent on how flexible you are in this position. So your spine is going to look different to mine. It might be flatter or it might be more rounded, but the main thing is still the same, going in that direction as best we can. And I'm just holding onto the top of the plate, pulling it towards me a little bit. Now once I've been here for a few seconds, I've done a few breaths, I should be able to push the plate a little bit further away from me. Same thing, try and get on top of the plate again, fingers around the top, so it's lengthening me even more. You can just keep going through that process for a few deep breaths in that position. Push the plate a little bit further, try and get on top of it as best you can, and then just hold for a few breaths. Nice, and then come back out. Now you should already notice that this is starting to feel a little bit easier to get into that anterior position on the height that you set up originally. Then for the next one, we just need to grab hold of that lighter plate. Now if you're newer to it, go with like a 5 kilo plate or something like that to start with, nothing too heavy. I'm going to start with the 10 kilos. Now I prefer to use these bigger plates. You could use one of the smaller plates as well. The beauty with the big plates is that it's not putting a lot of weight in a small position on your back. So something like a kettlebell is going to put all of the weight in one small area. Something like this spreads the weight. So when we do a position like this, it's going to be a lot safer because it's spread out and I'm not got it bearing down on my neck or anything. I want to feel that the weight is on the back and I'm opening the chest up as much as I can there. And then all I'm going to do is go down a little bit and then come back up again. And as I come down, I'm trying to extend away with the elbows and back. And every few repetitions, I'm just going to try and get a little bit deeper as I extend up through that extension, through the elbows and back. And then just keep coming down if you can, down to the floor and back up. But we're only going for a range that we can do the eccentric and the concentric back up. I'm trying to keep that lengthening all the time. So elbows as far away from me as I can. Okay, now I'm going to do exactly the same thing, but I'm going to pause at the bottom for longer and I'm going to see if I can rest. Now the rest could be, if you're not so flexible, on your elbows or even on your hands in that position, and then every few seconds I'm just going to take that elbows a little bit further away. But if you're more flexible, we're going to lengthen, come all the way down, so here, and then get the hat out of the way a little bit. I'm just going to rest in that position and I want to try and get the plate so it's in a comfortable position, and we're just going to spend 20, 30, 60 seconds in this position where I'm getting a nice deep stretch. I'm still trying to continue to lengthen as best I can, but I'm just going to chill here for time. And then if we're a bit more conditioned, have a little bit of a rest, maybe a walk around, and then we just do exactly that same movement, both those last two drills. That's another good exercise, look. Rolling the plate around, trying to get out as far as I can. That's a nice dynamic one. I wouldn't program that, but it's a good one I often do in class. But look, now I'm going to do exactly the same with the 20k plate. Now if you're going to go heavier, I'd recommend that you don't just jump to a 20k plate. I go 5 kilos, make sure your body feels okay, 10, 15, and then if it feels okay, especially like the day after and things, and you get your body conditioned to it, you can up the ante with something like this. But same thing, spreading the weight across the spine, lengthening on the reps, exploring, only get a little bit of range, make sure you can get back up on that concentric, a little bit more range, make sure you can get back up on the concentric. Again, repetitions, 5 to 10, then follow it with that hold and the same thing. So either elbows down, condition yourself first, or if you have it, go deeper and deeper into that position until you can lay there. Again, get it somewhat comfortable, and then I can just lay here for time. Now a good goal with any of these ones where we're using a weight in this position is get really comfortable, try and get in the best possible position for time, and then either get someone to lift the plate off you or get rid of it like I did, then try and mimic that exact same position, and you're aiming to get that same range of motion there without the plate. They're the main exercises that I use for weighted straddle stretching and mobility, because we're going up and down, we're creating strength through that range of motion. We're not just got passive flexibility. And the main goal is to make sure once you get rid of the plates that you can still do the movement the same but without, and it should feel just as open and just as mobile, and it should feel nice and happy around those hips. Now be extra careful, make sure you're super conditioned before you start using the plates. Don't just suddenly jump in with your first day of stretching the straddle and add a 20k plate to your back, because that's asking for trouble. Make sure you raise the hips up at that right height to make sure your spine's in a good position. And if you have my app or you're a YouTube member, you'll also have access to the longer version of this video where we go into the straddle L-sit holds and the straddle L-sit press to handstand. And I'll speak to you guys in the next one.